Hello and welcome to episode 7 of our series of Blades in the Dark. As always, there'll be a playlist up on screen if you've missed any previous episodes and want to catch up. Today we're going to drop in and see what Carrie-Anne and Mittens have been up to. So, what have you both been up to since we last saw you?
Well, Carrie-Anne has been very much making the most of the fact that Eli has disappeared. It's been amazing not having some useless, incompetent fool turning up at the house every 2 minutes asking people to do things. So in that time, she has had the chance to do some training and get to the end of the track in prowess, and she has been able to add another dot in prowl. Obviously, the criminal life agrees with her. And also, she has completed a project to acquire a contact for the gang, and it's a resurrectionist, and they will be able to help. She's been training Mr. Squishy to go just round a little. She's built a little model of the base, and she's been training Mr. Squishy to go around it.
Incredible. And Mittens, I know it's not been very long since we last saw you. What have you been doing the last week?
So I too have been training my my stealth skills. Not quite ready to put another dot in the box yet, but basically just been making sure that Carrie-Anne's been doing her training, so I've just been doing the same training but slightly further back, and making sure she hasn't noticed me.
But because you haven't got the extra dot yet, she's obviously...
Well, I mean, I've still got 3 dots, so I'm pretty stealthy. But yeah, so that's one of the things I've been doing, and the other thing is I've been just putting the finishing touches to the community centre, which is now kind of like ready and open to have people bring in bundles of various produce to somehow make the world better. And yeah.
Nice.
I went there, it was horrible.
You came out looking less stressed, though.
I don't think I did. I only went there to look for my glove, to be honest, and I didn't find it.
Yeah, we don't keep many gloves at the community centre. It's not really what it's there for.
What's Mittens up to in the base currently?
He's wandering around mostly quite stealthily, but he's also singing "Food, Glorious Food" under his breath, so he's kind of giving himself away a bit. And yeah, that's what he's doing right now.
And what about you, Carrie-Anne?
Is conducting a new experiment, which is seeing how leeches feel about Parma violets. So far, the results are interesting.
What are the results?
Well, Mr. Squishy seems to be quite interested, and the others not so much. So
interesting.
Yeah, I always knew that I had a favourite, and it's him. He is best boy.
As you are conducting these bits of research, you hear... I mean, I don't know how well you'd actually hear this, but for the sake of, plot and all, you hear the sound of what is what seems to be a like a leaflet just kind of hitting into a door. You see a ghost float through the door, and then hear the sound of a leaflet hitting the floor, as they've clearly tried to, float through the door to speak to you holding a leaflet, and they can go through a door and a leaflet can't. Oh, I dropped my leaflet.
That's okay. I'll get it. And I open the door and pick up the leaflet.
Oh, Mittens, you're here as well. Wonderful. So, if you can, if you're looking at the leaflet, it's a leaflet for a museum.
This looks educational.
Did somebody say educational?
Oh, yeah, here. This is probably more your thing than mine.
Okay.
I hand it over.
I will have a look at the leaflet.
So, if you look at the second page, I mean, it's not a big one. It's just like, fold out A4, like folded over. Yeah. If you look like the inside one, you'll find they've got a new exhibit in the what are they called? Church of the Flamey People.
Church of the Flamey People.
Flamey boys.
What are they called?
Should know the answer to this. I have a book and I've written it down.
Circle of the Flame. I was close.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Circle of the Flame. Said right there.
Well, they have their museum that they like to use as their, a suggestion that they are legitimate antiquarians and all that kind of stuff. And they've got a new exhibit in the museum. I believe I've heard tell of your adventures with them previously. Carry on.
Yes, they have quite an interesting adventure going on that I had the great pleasure of visiting with Claudia.
Indeed, so I heard.
Yeah, yes.
And some of their findings from the church that they discovered has become a new attraction, a new display of things in the museum. Now, as Mittens might have filled you in on, but probably didn't, so I might have to fill you on this now. We believe there's a way to fix Disappeary Boy. And, well, not fix, but he disappeared, then bad things started happening. Well, I say bad things, I mean I got killed. That was pretty bad from my perspective.
We're talking about Eli, are we?
That's the one.
And we definitely want to bring him back, do we?
I mean, I don't know details of what happened to him. I don't know if we bring him back.
Okay.
But
okay.
Certainly,
so there's still a chance that we might not bring him back. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Certainly, he has killed one person already.
Yes, I mean that's not good, is it?
And hearing some other things have happened from some new ghosts that I've met. So we want to stop that happening. So there's the box. Do you remember the box? The box
I do.
Thing?
I do remember
What's
the
in
box.
the box?
What's in the box? So I always enjoyed that play. Although a little bit strange to watch now, given some of the acts. But anyway, wait. Oh yes, what was in the box? The box, right? Again, I'm sure Mittens told you about this, but he probably didn't. So
I did.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Right. Magic fancy box. Thing that came out of box bad. Use things in box to recall bad thing.
Magic undo button.
Yes. Magic undo button. Of which we need 3 things. We've got 1. The second one is part of a new display.
Cool.
On the museum that we have a brochure for. So, if you want to help get things we need for a magic undo button, then elaborate heist from a museum.
I want to slide down from the ceiling on a rope. I just
Is
feel
this
like that's...
is this at the museum, or are you just? Do we need to wait for you to do that before we leave?
Let's work on it. I'll get the harness.
And look, what you do in your own time, Mittens, is your business, and I don't need to hear about it. I suggest that we go to the museum and get the item, and also we can have a nice look round while we're there, perhaps, because it's always nice to go to a museum, isn't it? Very educational. You might learn something.
It's unlikely, but I'll try.
Yes, I agree.
Imagine why we haven't spent more time together.
Incredible. Cool. So, what would you like to do? I mean, other than that, do you want to? It's a museum that's open to the public. They have a suggested donation, but you don't have to make it. So if you wanted to go look around during the day, you could, or if you just wanted to jump a day and score and flashback to when you go around during the day, up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can. If we went and had a look during the day, then we would have had a chance to scope the place out, wouldn't we? While it was okay to be walking around looking inquisitive, and then perhaps use that knowledge to get in there afterwards.
That sounds like a good plan. And we can do all the reading up on schematics and stuff in the meantime as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can read the schematics. You can do the little children's activity sheet that they give out. Everybody's happy.
I'm 17.
Oh, so I see. I thought you were 18, so that makes it worse.
Yeah. Anyway,
Maybe a toddler's little scribbling book then.
Yes, yes. I hope that they'll also have some coloured pencils.
they are useful for making nefarious markings on walls.
Alrighty. So the museum itself is basically like an old what was the word? It's quite an old building. It's like a square, but with a courtyard in the middle, a little quadrangle in the middle. And basically there's kind of as you go in, there's obviously a kind of lobby area with a gift shop. In front of you, there's straight ahead. There's kind of a lecture theatre where they have talks about different history stuff and about things they found, and obviously have some guest speakers from the university and stuff, all that kind of thing. Then to your left is where you basically get into a square which has the exhibits in. So as you go in, assuming you start kind of going right rather than left, if we start with that, you get into a section which is just about kind of general history of Dwimble, and kind of basically from post-cataclysm to now. As you go to the end of the room, there's a little room on the right which is all about history of ghosts and spooky things. On the left is then, as you go kind of left to the next section, is basically kind of the history of the Circle of the Flame, but obviously very propagandist in the sense that it makes them out to be definitely legitimate archaeologists and good people, and not for them being criminals or anything. Up in the next section, then, so kind of along the top, is a section that is about ancient mysticism, which, there's a bunch of things about the church that they found, and a various bunch of items, different cases and things from that church, including something that you identify kind of in the middle as being the thing that you're looking for. And then the final side is all about sort of natural history and animals, and there's various kind of fossils of extinct animals that used to exist pre-cataclysm. Down at the end then, as you go down that way, you go into a gift shop, which then leads to the exit. As you're kind of scoping out, make a roll. And there's kind of two things I think is useful to sort of cover off, and it's up to you which one you want to focus on. Although I suspect, so I think for how well you scope out some of the security details, and how well you make it look like you're not scoping out the security details.
Okay.
Is that two things, or is two rolls, or is that one roll?
We'll cover off with one roll.
Because I would do study, but
sounds good.
I'm obviously I'm wearing glasses, so clearly I'm here because for learning purposes, because glasses. So
yep, seems legit.
Okay, I will roll for my studying.
So, are we doing a roll each?
Yeah.
Okay. To cover off the bit where we're not looking like we're doing it, can I roll a prowl?
Go for it.
Cool. Okay. Okay. A single success.
Sorry, what was it?
It's a 6, sorry.
Cool.
I got 5.
Nice. Cool. So as between you managed to do a pretty good job of scoping it out, and no one has seen you walking around and has requested extra security for this evening, so that's good. As you're looking around, the obvious kind of main thing is that the entrance that you came in, that kind of is the exit. There's kind of big doors. That's basically the only door that you can see on the ground floor. There are no windows leading outside. There are some windows in the quad, and that's where they get most of their light from. And it's mainly kind of electrical lights beyond that. But there's no kind of windows on the ground floor. A quick look at the exhibits would suggest that the exhibits are themselves in some way rigged to a security system. Details not immediately obvious to you, but without kind of being able to go really in depth into what they are, you can kind of see that there is signs that there is some kind of mechanism beneath the exhibits. There are stairs that you can see that lead upstairs. All of them during the day are very much kind of cordoned off, and they're very much like staff only upstairs. Between
how many? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say one more thing. In between the different sections, also doors.
So just to be clear, there's a first floor. Is there a second floor as well, or is it just a first floor?
No, just the first floor.
Okay. So obviously we're not having these conversations while we're in there, but presumably flash forward to later on when we're having these discussions. it seems. I mean, not to lean into my own desires too much, but it seems like
Not
it
the
would be a
fucking
good
horse
idea.
again.
No, no, not the horse. Oh yeah, I suppose.
Swear to God, Mittens, if you no, we are not. No, just no. Behave.
When
I don't care what Haywood lets you do.
Well, I was going to say let's get to the roof and then, as I say, venture down from the ceiling. But yeah, wasn't mentioning the horse. That's why does everyone keep bringing up the horse? Anyway, yeah, seeing as it sounds like the floor's rigged, so making an adventure from the ceiling seems like more of a viable option.
Yeah. Okay.
Was expecting a little more resistance there. Okay. Cool. Okay. That sounds good.
Alrighty, so for the engagement roll, well, actually, yes, flash forward to what point are you deciding to go in? And I'm assuming the answer is going to be when it's closed and overnight, because presumably there'll be less people to see you stealing it, but you could have a plan that involves it being day. I don't know.
I don't know about you, but I'm not particularly charismatic, so and I get the feeling you aren't either. So
No,
let's go in at night.
that face was about you not being charismatic. That's what that face was.
Yes,
I am
can
happy
read
for
emotions.
us to go in at night. That seems like a decent idea.
That was dangerously close to you being nice to me.
No.
So, what's your kind of initial entry then? What so you want to get on the roof?
Yeah.
How do you want to do that?
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm certainly envisaging some like Assassin's Creed-esque type building, which seems incredibly climbable.
Has it got some kind of fire escape?
No, it didn't have a fire escape, but I'm sure if you yeah, I'm sure you could find a place to climb up if you wanted to.
I mean, I'm a relatively good climber, and I can always drop a rope down or something if you'd like an easier way up.
I'm resisting the urge to make a comment there. Yes, go ahead and climb the building, and yeah, I will either follow you or you can
Fall to my death, yes.
fall to your death, whichever happens
Whichever
first.
comes first.
Yeah.
Awesome. In which case, let's use this engagement roll to see how well all of this goes. So obviously 1 dice for sheer luck. Is it particularly bold or daring?
Climbing a building is the first point of ingress, yes. Yes, it is.
Elaborate heist from a museum. I'm assuming it's going to be an elaborate heist. It could just be a regular heist, but
I'll try and make it elaborate.
Let's be optimistic and call it an elaborate heist from a museum. Definitely bold or daring. Does it expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest?
They're vulnerable because they're not there.
And can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
So, I don't... Actually, that's a good question. Have I heard from Darmot since the last... Darmot, the Bluecoat. Have I heard from him since last we exploded a police station?
Yes, but only very briefly, because there's a lot going on in terms of inquiries within the Bluecoats as to how some people snuck in and blew up a sea mine. And whilst they're not yet aware of Darmot's connection to you, because he had been around at points, there's obviously a lot of kind of heat on him, so he's not really going to see you right now.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought that might be the case. I was going to say, I'll also suggest to him that maybe he floats the idea that the sea mine just went off, because they do that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he's not particularly high up in the Bluecoats. So obviously they're still trying to investigate and work out what's happening. Blah blah blah. Yeah, he's kind of keeping a low profile right now and doesn't want to risk leading anyone back to you.
Fair enough.
But yeah, he sent you a couple of little covert messages. Let's see how well we roll. Wait, what's that? All right. Okay. So the one that I couldn't tell what that was, that was a 1. But it's okay because I got a 2, and I also got a 2.
I was going to say, is it our normal terrible starting roll?
We've had some good starting rolls recently. You got a 5 last week. So, what I think it makes sense to say that Mitten's being quite used to climbing things. I assume you're used to climbing up buildings and such.
Yes. Sure.
You're making that sound like it was a...
You're right. It was silly of me. It's not ridiculous.
Cool. So Mitten's being reasonably capable at climbing things, manages to find himself a way up to the roof. Get some rope, find a nice little kind of chimney type thing, tie rope down, chuck it down to Carrie Ann, and you're kind of trying to help pull up. This building is quite an old building and is not the best designed. So as Carrie Ann starts to make her way up, what you hadn't quite noticed is that the brickwork around it is really not well done at all, and it's really not designed to actually hold any weight at all. It's pretty much just like bricks just stuck on top in a chimney type shape. This means that when it starts to take really any amount of strain, the rope just pretty much pulls it off. And so Carrie Ann is now at the bottom holding a rope with quite a loud sound of the little brick chimney at the top just being kind of pulled off, and making a pretty loud noise that hits the ground.
Just quickly load.
Good point. What's everyone going
Oh
with?
yeah. I will probably go with normal.
Same.
Cool. So, Carrie Ann stood. I'm assuming you've gone round the back. You're not doing this like on the front main road.
No, we are not doing it. We already know where the bit at the back, the exhibit that we want is towards the back, don't we? So I think it makes sense for us, as well as being out of sight, to try and start at a point where we're going to be nearer to the part we need to get to.
Mittens on the roof, Carrie Ann on the ground round the back.
I have as part of my load climbing gear. I choose to believe that this is like full on like crampons and picks. Can I try to scale the building maybe a little way over, or Mittens, if there's a spot that looks less like it's going to just pull the whole building down, could you perhaps identify that, and then I'll climb up that bit?
Right, why don't you make a roll for bit of the building that won't knock.
I shall survey the area. Oh, 5 and a 6.
Cool. Yeah, you give you find something that looks similar, but actually looks like it's been properly built in. And you give it quite a good test, and it's definitely, you can see that the brickwork actually goes into the roof rather than just kind of being stuck on top as an afterthought. When they clearly realised early on that the ventilation wasn't very good.
I like that I just wrapped a rope around a pile of bricks.
So you did that easily enough. Could you not have done that before the lowering of the first rope? That might have been a good idea.
I'll be honest, I saw a chimney in the dark. It looked like a chimney. I like your climbing gear.
Make a roll for climbing.
Well, I will be very finessily finding the good route up the building.
Very carefully in a finesse-like manner.
Yeah, it will be a very finessing
the way up the building in a finesse.
I will, yes. That's what's going to happen.
So you're going to roll prowl?
Tex. Come on now. Oh! Okay, I've very finessily thrown the dice on the floor.
Incredible.
1 second. It's stuck in some wires now. It's actually a 6. It's a 6! I rolled a 6 and a 2. Floor dice was the 6.
Incredible. Yeah, perfect. You finesse your way up a building, finessily.
Yeah, muttering the whole way that somebody couldn't check that chimney first.
Makes sense. Cool. So you are at least on a roof now.
Excellent. Phase 1 is complete.
Phase 2 ? Phase 3 profit.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. I was going to say, I'm assuming there is some kind of door that leads indoors somewhere on this roof.
There's not an obvious door. Why don't you make a roll to see what options you can find?
Okay, that will be a survey again then. That's a 5.
Cool. So you have a look around, and there's not like an obvious there's not like an obvious door that's like, sort of on top of the roof. As you kind of poke around, you find that essentially at some point, presumably after it was built, they decided they wanted to be able to access the roof, and a little hatch has basically been kind of added in. Like this little kind of trapdoor on the roof. This trapdoor, however, is kept locked. It actually has a kind of like standard key lock. But yeah, is kept locked.
Would you like me to, or I kind of gesture to the lock?
I'm quite happy to, but if
by all means.
It's kind of, it feels like bring your useless gang colleague to work day. So why don't you have at it?
Wait, which of us is the useless gang colleague?
The one who tied a rope around a chimney that fell down.
Okay, fine. I will finesse the lock with my fine lock picks. Oh, 4.
Okay. Yeah, you successfully open a lock. It is, frankly, not a very well used lock. It is old and does not. It doesn't move cleanly in the way that like a well maintained lock would do. There's definitely quite a bit of a clunk as you kind of get the right spot and get it open. It opens inwards, and just kind of very much like once it goes, it just kind of that makes quite a loud clunk as it hits. But you do at least have now it basically it doesn't really have much in the way of usage. So actually there's like a ladder over on the side. There's not, I mean, it's easy enough to jump down. You're not going to hurt yourself jumping down. But yeah, there's no options in terms of like climbing down into it. So if you are planning on jumping down, or if you've got any other solutions on how you want to get down, make a roll for it, and probably more in the not making loads of noise kind of area.
Okay. Shall I lead the way?
Sure.
That's not good. That's a 3, a 3, and a 2. I hate my dice. My dice hate me.
So you take 1 stress for that, and carry on. Try not to roll as badly.
I've rolled a 6 and a 3.
Yep, that would count as not rolling as badly. So yeah, you take 1 stress, but if you manage to kind of climb and drop yourself down quite gracefully. It's a rare bit of carpeted floor, so nice and easy for you to just kind of drop yourself down, and it kind of absorbs a lot of the sound that you would get from it. So you're kind of above actually where you ideally want to be. Now down this section, so you're on the first floor. Obviously I hadn't seen it as kind of a staff only area. You can kind of hear some signs of people. There is kind of a couple of bits of like conversation that you can hear further down, and a couple of points where you can hear kind of footsteps down halls.
Did we know where the stairs? Did we spot where the stairs were when we were looking around earlier?
Yep. There is. Hang on, where would you be? So you're looking down. To your right, there would be a set of stairs, kind of towards that corner. It's from that side that you can hear amounts of conversation going on.
Okay. All right. Can we look round the corner very stealthily and see if we can see the people?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm thinking that this is Prowl again.
Would make sense.
I rolled 2 5s.
Cool. Yes. So you do manage to kind of, yeah. So as you walk down, so it's basically just a corridor with some rooms off to the side, kind of offices type stuff. Nothing particularly interesting. As you get towards, so you kind of turn right. That's taking you. So right now you're kind of basically starting over where you want to be. Go right. That's taking you kind of towards the last section. There's some stairs just before you get to that, and then next to the stairs is so just kind of the room just before you get to the stairs is where the conversation is coming from, and you can see it's basically like a little staff room, a little break room. As you kind of sneakily get an eye around the corner, there you basically see a couple of guards, security guards, just kind of chatting as they're getting a little coffee from the pot and just having a little bit of a conversation. As you kind of think they start to potentially move away, you just kind of duck your head back round. And yeah, so that's kind of where the conversation is coming from. You can definitely hear some footsteps from down the stairs, as well as additional ones kind of up on the floor you're on.
Okay. I tell this to Mittens quietly.
I communicate back in the hand sign that we all learnt at the beginning.
Sorry, that was the wrong hand sign. Sorry.
So, when we were surveying this place earlier on, I don't suppose we happened to see any large air vents that were keeping the room well ventilated because of all the precious artifacts, did we?
Let's say that specific point is one stress, and the answer being yes.
Wait, what's the stress?
Flashback.
I mean, we went round the museum earlier. Okay. Oh.
So yes, you did find some air vents.
Okay. So we'd know where they come out, wouldn't we? But we wouldn't necessarily know where they are on this level. We would have to go look for them.
Yep.
So either we go look for the air vents or we try and do something to get past these fellas.
Your call. I seem to be making all the wrong choices today.
You can't just abandon it partway through. This is the thing you're going to learn as you grow up. You're going to need to commit to these things and see them through.
I just stare.
Okay. All right then. So in the other direction down the corridor, can I see anything? Can I see any vents? Can I see any rooms or see any people?
Yeah. Why don't you make a roll?
Okay, I am going to look really hard at it through my glasses, which obviously is study.
Yep. Seems legit.
If you're wearing glasses, it's automatically study. Okay, I have one in study. Oh no, okay. That is a 4.
Okay. Yes. So in terms of the kind of obvious points, as you then start to go back down the corridor, just kind of put your ear up to. There's a kind of bunch of locked doors basically, but you're obviously familiar with what if there's like a ventilation system, what that might sound like. So you kind of give me a quick check, and yeah, you kind of go down a couple of doors and kind of in the middle of the corridor, kind of in the inside, as in like by the courtyard in the middle rather than the outside. You find a door that has that kind of telltale sign of you can kind of hear a little bit of a motor going that's kind of running an airflow system. So yeah, that door itself is locked.
Okie dokie. Does it have a keyhole that I can look through then?
Per the Ballad of Dishonors.
Yeah. Yep. I was reading this Penny Dreadful, and it was about a woman who had to go and clear her name and save her father, and there was a lot of peering through keyholes.
Yeah, sure.
It would be a study again if I'm rolling for it, obviously, because I'm still wearing my glasses as I look through the keyhole.
It would, yeah.
Okay. That's a 6. Oh shit, what is up with these dice today? 6, please. Let's just hope I'm not using up all the 6s, and then when there's actually somebody there, I roll 1.
Yeah, so yeah, there's currently no key in the lock.
Okay.
By the nature of the room, it's just got some lights on that they kind of stay on because if they need to do any maintenance, and it's just easier to leave them on. So you can actually get a pretty nice view of the room. It's there's currently no one in there. It's basically just a relatively small room. You can see like a motor. You can see basically a big vent, and that leads up onto the roof, which you also helped a little bit by the roof not being so much there anymore, because that's where they'd obviously dug out to create an exit for the airflow, and stuck a fake chimney on the top to make it look nice, which means that's now not which means there's a bit more light coming in from the roof than there would have been previously, and yeah, so you can see through, and there's essentially a motor running the kind of airflow system, and in front, kind of at the far side, is basically a big vent.
Okay. I don't know if Mittens has followed me or...
Yeah.
Okay. I do the prearranged hand signal for there's a vent in that room.
Okay. Then I'll try and open the door.
Go for it. Dare I ask what you got?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, this is not a conventional lock. Clearly, they are worried about people messing with, the whole ventilation system as helps keep a lot of the exhibits in the required temperature. So it's basically a specialist custom lock they've had fitted on this door, and one that is specifically designed to stop people picking it. Because paranoid museum people, I guess.
So we either try to break the door down, I guess, or find another route.
Let's just go the other route. This doesn't feel like it's going to happen. You found the other way with the guards and people. We can just sneak past them because we're both so sneaky.
Oh, God. All right. All right, then.
I have no other ideas at the moment, so that seems like the only other plan we've got.
Okay, well, all right. So we go back. We're going to attempt to... We could either just try and sneak past them, don't know if that will work, or we can try and incapacitate them first.
Did you see how many of them there were?
There were 2.
Okay. I'll be honest, I'm not the most incapacitated. I'm a kind of a non-violent kind of guy.
Really? Because I heard that your kill count was quite high.
No, mine wasn't. It was a shared kill count.
Was it? Okay.
Yes,
Okay. In that case, we could perhaps... All right. Okay, so I have brought with me my alchemicals because of course I have. And I probably have something that would be able to get both of them at the same time if they're standing next to each other.
Did you ever do anything with that Black Lotus stuff that we gave? I think we gave you.
Did we?
Yes, I think Matilda and I both picked up some Black Lotus during our most recent murder spree, and I certainly gave you all of the stuff that I had, and I assume that she also gave you all the stuff that she had and definitely didn't use it herself. So
do we assume that?
I do.
I think you can probably confidently say that you did. I don't know.
Yes,
if we can say that Matilda did.
I 100% believe that she gave you everything. I'm sure.
Just remind me again what that did.
I think when you refine it into some kind of liquid or something to that effect, then it can be it can cause hallucinations or paralysis or something. It was one of those go mental drugs.
So you've got a couple of options. You could either use those, if you can work out a way to get Black Lotus into the kind of delivery system that's better than putting it over their eyes. If you happen to have something like Skullfire.
My own, I've got my own alchemicals, haven't I? So I'm like, I was thinking either Skullfire or a handful of trance powder would get both of them at once. I don't know if the Black Lotus is more effective though. That has muddied the water for me because I hadn't considered it as an option.
I think Black Lotus in its form would be difficult to deliver. That seems like a weird way of putting it, but
I know what you mean. I do have a blowgun and syringes.
Which would be kind of one by one, but that's not necessarily
exactly that. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether it would be better to go with something like that or to just transpowder both of them in the face.
I mean, if you've got your own stuff anyway.
Yeah, so that'd be your main options, whichever one you prefer.
I think maybe the. I think I'm going to go with this with the Skullfire. I'm going to use the dart and Skullfire, and I'm going to try and get them like one after another.
Skullfire would be more like a vial, because it's actually the fumes off the Skullfire that has the effect.
Oh, it says on my sheet that it's gas fired from a blowgun.
Oh, is it specifically from a blowgun?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I should stress that I did not write this sheet. It's not my own sheet that I've invented. It's an actual PDF.
No, I'm just trying to think through the mechanics of it, but yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. Make a roll.
All right. I'm just checking these off my thingy before I forget that I've used them. Oh, it's not working. Okay. All right. So I will finesse. I'm going to finesse the firing of the finesse blowpipe. It's called the finesse blowpipe 3000. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's why I bought it, because of its finesse. Okay. Here we go. Come on, dice. Don't be rubbish now when I need you to be good. I got a 4 and a 3.
Okay. Well, the good news is they both go down from your blowgun, obviously. Sorry. You correctly shoot them, and both of them are taken out.
Okay.
And incapacitated from your Skullfire. Both of them hit the ground pretty hard.
Yeah. Okay. Can we just quickly sneak over there and I don't know, arrange them or move them or something? Mittens, do something.
I
start playing guard Jenga.
Are you wanting to do that before they hit the ground, or?
I don't know. If I see that they're falling, I might try and get over there. I wasn't anticipating getting over there before they hit the ground, but I was going to try and either move them so that they can't be found, or I don't know, make it look like they drank too much coffee and they're having some kind of coffee seizure.
Makes sense. Minton's, are you joining as well, or is it just?
Yeah, I'll go and help.
Cool. So what are you doing?
Oh God, what does this count as?
I mean, it's not necessarily a roll. Just
Oh, all right.
Just describe what you're going for.
Yeah, there's not a seat, is there? Are there seats, or is it just there a seat? Okay, could we arrange them just pull them onto the seats so that they look like they've gone to sleep on the job?
Sure. So as you're doing that, from the kind of sound of them hitting the floor and the other sounds that they've heard, a couple of guards that were patrolling the top floor converge on this break room as you're kind of sitting them on chairs. The first one runs in to see the scene and looks at the two of you doing this. Oh, what's going on? What's going on here?
These people have had a coffee seizure.
Oh God.
I say convincingly.
They've had a what?
A coffee seizure. They've clearly been drinking some of this strange blend, and I kind of like indicate the cup that is on the side.
That doesn't sound like a thing that would happen. That sounds very unrealistic, if you ask me.
Well, actually, I'm a doctor, and I take out because I have with me all my certificates, which I carry with me at all times, just to prove that I'm a doctor. And I tell him that yes, actually, this is a thing that's been happening a lot in Dwimble. It's quite well known. Coffee seizures. It's quite serious, and I am a doctor who's trying to work on it at the moment and find a solution. And unfortunately, these two gentlemen, this has happened to them as well. And yes, we're trying to help them.
What? Huh? How do you know about this? The other guard comes in, and sees the conversation. Oh, what's going on then? And the other one says, "She says they're having coffee seizures. Coffee seizures."
If you'd like to come over, and if you come over here, I can show you the symptoms of the coffee seizure, and I beckon to them to come closer so that they're both standing very near to me.
Make a roll.
Oh God. I feel like this is going to be a roll of something that I don't do.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be sway, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a 1 and a 3.
All right. They very much keep their distance.
Okay. Are they standing next to each other?
Yeah, reasonably close.
Okay. How far away from me are they?
How big's a break room? Reasonable size. Let's say. I mean, probably not that far away. Like maybe 5 meters.
Okay. I am going to. Okay, I'm gonna say that I want to. All right, I'm going to say okay. Well, I'm going to need some more of my equipment to be able to help them. So my associate here, if you could please just stay with these gentlemen while I go and get my equipment, and I start walking towards the door of the break room, towards
of course,
the men.
Doctor.
All right.
I say convincingly.
They, presumably you're just walking out of the break room.
I'm walking towards the door of the break room, i.e. past them. And as I go past them, I want to reach into my bag, and I am going to throw trance powder in both of their faces.
Cool. Make a roll for it.
Okay. This is a finesse operation of finessily throwing powder in the faces. Okay, it's 2 4s.
Wonderful. You managed to kind of, quite quickly get your hand in and fling it at them. It's probably not the most controlled operation with the trance powder you've ever done. You do kind of catch a little bit as you fling it past. So take level 1 harm, woozy.
Okey doke.
But you got the 2 of them pretty good. So they are quite out of it.
Excellent. Okay.
So you've got 2 passed out from essentially massive migraines. You've got 2 in hypnotically induced trance who are just kind of stood swaying as if they're about to fall over.
Can we just ease them onto the seats, just so they don't fall down and hit the deck?
Yeah, let's just say you do it.
Okay.
How many guards do you think there are here overnight, based on the size of the building?
I don't know. I expect there'll be more downstairs. I don't know if there'll be any more up here.
I feel like we've taken out a good chunk of the night force. I say we. I feel like you've taken out a good chunk of the night force.
Yes. Yeah, potentially. But I guess we don't know, do we? And we can't ask anybody now because they're all knocked out and stuff, so...
Swings and roundabouts. Okay.
Unless we can find a room that has a list of who's on shift today, which we could do, or we could just go downstairs and chance it.
Let's chance it.
All right, then. So the stairs, are the stairs in this room?
They're just next to it. So
they're next to it. Okay, but we can shut the people into this room. We could shut the people in this room, couldn't we?
Yes.
Is there a key in the door by any chance? Or do any of the guards have on them a key? Or any keys? Or multiple keys?
Make a roll to find a key.
Okay, I'm looking through my glasses, so it's study. Alright. It's a 5.
Okay. One of the guards has a bunch of keys on him. You can either try them all on this door. There's about like 20 keys on this ring. You can either try them all on this door and hope that you eventually get it, or you can choose not to.
We could try and lockpick the door shut.
Is that a thing that you do?
I mean, it's probably not a special lock, given that it's not protecting a ventilation system. So, yeah, you can do that.
I can do that, or are you going to do that?
I can do that. Either of us can do it.
All right,
we
well,
are both
let's...
lockpicky.
I think it's worth it trying to lock them in here. So if you can do that, then sure. And if not, then I have some special liquid that can do it.
Okay, I will try and do that. 4.
Okay. Yeah. I think with the 4, is this lock is not... Again, this lock is basically never used. It is not well maintained. And it is significantly stiffer than it reasonably should be if anyone ever looked after it. You do manage to lock it with your lockpick. However, half of your lockpick does not come out when you pull it.
And I go through these things all the time.
Able to pin his hair back for the remainder of the score.
Yeah, I just stick it into my hair.
It is hair grips, right?
Mm.
That's what everyone uses as lockpicks. All right. Come on then.
Okay. We head downstairs.
Any particular...
Stealthy walkie walk.
Cool. Yeah, make a roll.
Six. Okay.
I got 2 5s.
Cool. Yeah, you can walk down the stairs sneakily enough. what you can see as you kind of start to make your way down the stairs, and presumably keeping an eye out for this sort of thing, is that to your right is the kind of section that will take you down, to the gift shop and back out, and then to your left is like the main section for this exhibit that has what you're looking for in. Each of those, the door to your right that will take you through is currently closed, as is the one at the kind of the far end. You can loosely hear some footsteps, but currently there's no one in this room.
Okay. I mean, I'm assuming we just duck down and, as per the old children's game Metal Gear Solid, evade the guards. That seems like a reasonable approach.
Did you happen to bring a big old cardboard box as part of your load?
Well, it's a medium-sized cardboard box. I do have a fine shadow cloak, which I kind of pull out from somewhere and swirl it around me, and now I'm wearing a fancy black cloak that presumably makes me harder to see in the dark. Yeah, I'm assuming we can sneak around whoever is coming.
Yeah. Why don't you make a quick roll to get a sense of what you think is coming? Does that make sense?
Okay, sure. It's a 6.
Cool. So as you kind of make your way to the end, or kind of to the two doors, give it a quick listen, try and get a sense of what's going through, and a little peek through a keyhole. You can see that essentially from your perspective on the left, you can see there's a couple of guards kind of making their way quite slowly down to your section. You can't quite see what's down the other way, but it sounds like there's two sets of footsteps walking down a way. So you kind of get the sense there's sort of two doing sort of a what would that be? That would be anti-clockwise rotation, kind of patrol, and sort of making their way slowly through kind of opposite exhibits each time. You would guess that you maybe have a minute in this room alone before they come in, and what you can also pick up is that they're not like checking every point, but they're not just like walking through, like they are properly kind of making sure there's nothing untoward around. So it's not it wouldn't necessarily be the easiest to hide from them.
Okay. So I relay this information. What do you think? We've got about a minute.
If it might be tricky to hide, then did you say that they were like they're on opposite routes?
Yeah.
So one will be at one side while the other one's at the other side. So we could take them out one by one, couldn't we?
So they're it's pairs. So two pairs.
Oh, in pairs. Oh, so it's two pairs. Okay.
Sorry, remind me. Are we trying to get through this room, or is what we want in this room?
What you want is in this room.
Okay, and they're just walking around this room. They're not going to any other rooms.
Oh no! So what you want is in
doing
this
like
room. There's basically 4 main like exhibit rooms, each kind of side of the square that is the building. So currently they're in the 2 sort of exhibits either side. So they're not currently in this room, but one pair is making their way towards this room.
Okay. We could just go back upstairs and wait till they've gone past.
And see how long we'll have before the next pair comes back, is what you mean?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's like 5 minutes. The amount of time it takes to walk slowly around a museum, probably
Okay.
longer than 5 minutes.
Okay. All right then.
Quick, back up the stairs.
You hear the Benny Hill theme start playing somewhere.
Yes.
Cool. So did you make a roll? Let's see. Make a roll for how well you get a sense of, just kind of track the patterns that they're.
Would you like to take this one, or shall I?
You can if you would like to.
Okay. So again, this is like survey, trying to work out what they're going to be doing. That kind of thing. Nope. 3.
Okay. From what you can pick up, and do you have something that you'd be using to time, or are you just trying to count in your head?
I was just trying to listen. I assumed the echoes would fade away as they walked off. But perhaps it's very echoey.
Yeah, the mix of that and it doesn't seem as consistent as you were expecting. So I presume you're kind of expecting them to take roughly the same length of time. You kind of listen to 2 or 3 loops. You probably expect them to take roughly the same length of time. They feels like they walk each time a pair was walking through. It felt like they were going at slightly different speeds each time, like that they have a deliberate pattern they follow of sort of different speeds moving through, so that it's not consistent. How long they're not in a room for.
Okay. So do we go down at the wrong time, or are we just not sure where they are?
I mean, you'd be able to hear if there's someone in the room or not. So, you can wait until you hear them kind of unlock the door, go through and then lock it again. But what you don't have a sense of is how long it would take for the next set of guards to walk through.
Okay. We know what the thing is, what the actual object is that we're here for,
Mhm.
don't we? And we've established that if we were to just lift it off the thing, then some security measures would take place.
Yep.
Would there be time for us to or one of us to nip in and have a quick look just as soon as the last ones have left, just to try and look at whatever, I guess it's on a plinth or a...
Yeah, so you definitely have time. It's just you don't know exactly how long you'd have. So you wouldn't be able to plan kind of, this is exactly how long we've had, and therefore what we need to do.
Yeah. Okay. I'm wondering about the strategy of sealing the doors shut and just trying to get that thing out of there and leg it back upstairs and up onto the roof as fast as possible. Or again, do we try and take them out?
I'm not very good with locks. I'm even worse with taking people out.
Okay, well, I can make the doors be shut.
Okay.
And stay shut. I could also potentially take them out. What?
Let's shut the doors, because while you're doing that, I can potentially be trying to swipe the thing.
Right. Okay. Yes, division of labour. This is good. All right. So we probably would want to wait until one pair has just left, and there'd be 2 sets of doors, won't there? So one at one end and the other at the other end. Okay. All right. In that case, I guess while Mittens goes to look for / at the doohickey, I will go to each set of doors, and with binding oil, I will permanently fuse the 2 surfaces together.
Okay. Do make it needs to be a roll for each of them.
Well, binding oil is very much a finesse alchemical.
Yep. You don't want to be wrecking that.
I suppose it could also be tinker, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because I've got two in both. So, all right. So doors the first. It's 2 5s. And doors the second is a 4 and a 2.
Okay. You do manage to use your thing. Yeah, okay. So they're bonded shut. Mittens, what are you trying to do?
Well, while all that is happening, as soon as Carry-On's done bonding the first door, I'll have taken out my glass cutter and I'll be cutting a circle in the glass cabinet.
Glass?
I mean, well, yeah, it's just a bit of string with like a diamond thing on the end. You plug them on, take it out.
Pretty classic museum heist stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it's quite a small object, but it's basically on. So, from what you've seen before, it's basically on its own, on like a plinth thing, glass, cube around it basically. It itself is on a little stand thing, which actually make a roll in terms of, so obviously that side of it's easy enough. Cut around, that seems fair enough. Oh, actually, yeah, make a roll for that one actually.
For which bit? Sorry,
the glass cutting.
Okay, that is a very fine thing to do. It's a 4.
Okay. Yeah, you do manage to close, cut it and pull it back. It drops off and shatters at your feet, but you have at least not dropped it on the alarm systems. That's good. And the item in front of you, you can see it's basically on. It's almost like a guitar stand, like it's it's coming up and it's hooked on. You can kind of make a roll in terms of then having a look at this contraption that it's on.
Okay, I will survey it. Critical success, finally.
Amazing. So this is a super roll trick. You've seen this before. It is basically part of the reason why it's on a stand is that it's a very sensitive set of scales beneath it. If you were to just take it off, it would this side of the scales would kind of raise, the other one would close, and that would then create a circuit that's connected back up to a security office. Standard stuff. So in terms of that side as well, Actually, so currently it's level. It's very sensitive scales. They're currently finely balanced. If you were to push down your side, it would do the same thing. So it's kind of designed that if you put too much weight on it, the one side will go down and that will trigger the alarm. Don't have enough weight on it, the other side will go down and trigger the alarm.
Is there just a cable I can cut if it's an electric thing?
That would all be kind of
Okay.
underground, yeah, or at least under the tiling. So I don't know if you wanted to have a go at digging up and cutting the wires.
Well, I was going to say the alternative is Indiana Jones, and drop it on and thing at the same time, right? That's the alternative.
That is the alternative. Yep. The main question, if you were wanting to do that, is it's going to make it sound like a fair game, but like, how well can you guess the weight of the thing to be able to put something on it of the same weight so that the scales stay balanced and it doesn't trigger the alarm?
Well, in Mitten's past life, he was, of course, champion of guess the weight of the cake.
Flashback to Mittens at some kind
this is just my childhood.
Country fair.
Yeah.
Accurately guessing the weight of the cake and thus winning the cake.
Yes,
seems fair. We'll kind of take that as the extra plus critical success that Mittens kind of looks at it as like, yeah, I reckon that's about 73 grams.
Yep. Which is, so I pull out the counterweight because obviously we knew we were coming here, so I've prepared a 73 gram look-alike type item. And yeah, I'll just try and swap them over.
That might be a little bit specific for a flashback.
That was just an item of load because I assume it doesn't need to look like. It doesn't need to look alike. It just needs to weigh the same. Is what I mean. Sorry. And be probably roughly
yes.
the same shape. So, like, if it's a cylinder, it could just be a pipe. It doesn't have to be like a visual representation.
I guess what I'm just trying to think through in terms of a flashback. Obviously, you wouldn't have known the weight. Would you have known the weight?
Well, we came round the museum earlier, and
we
if I
had
was
a
looking
chance
at
to look at the object earlier, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. Cool. So as you're kind of doing this, they've kind of heard the sounds of the glass circle as it hit the floor, and kind of turn around and can see a little bit of a somewhat unusual looking substance on the doors. So as you kind of take it off and starting to kind of prepare yourself for the Indiana Jones trick, you can hear the banging, people trying to open the doors, it not opening, and some kind of loud banging sounds and shouting.
Okay. Well,
would you like to roll for your Indiana Jones trick?
Yes, I will. And I will push myself as well.
Makes sense.
Okay. Sure, we'll use one of these. So I'm assuming that would be finesse. There's no way I can make that prowl, can I?
No, I think finesse.
Okay. That's a 5 and 2 1s. So lucky I pushed myself.
Yeah. You do manage to do the switcheroo. before any alarms go off, which is good. What is less good is the amount of glass that you're having to be stood on to be in position to, get the thing out. So let's say that's level 1 harm with sliced up feet. But you have the thing that you came for, and you haven't set off an alarm. Having heard the kind of noises, there you can still hear them kind of trying to open the door quite loudly, but you can also hear some footsteps heading away that you suspect might be heading upstairs to try and get you off.
Okay. Are there any windows in this room?
No.
There's no extra. We need to go. We have to go now.
Yep.
I make the signal for cheese it.
I cheese it as best I can with glass in my feet. Depending on how severe the glass is, I don't know.
I mean, it's uncomfortable to run on, but it's not stopping you running.
I'll fix that later. It's fine.
Okay.
Let's just get back up the stairs and back onto the roof.
Okay.
Upstairs.
Jeez, it.
Yeah. Back to the hatch.
Cool. As you're doing this, you hear some what sounds like a bell kind of ringing in the background, and so the people who were there, they kind of run up the stairs, been to security office, and they're kind of raising an alarm. You can kind of hear from beneath you where those two doors were. They've had kind of you can essentially hear the kind of sort of in the background of the noises. You can hear like rollers coming down, over the doors, and the people trying to barge through are now also running upstairs. Presumably, if you're trying to go back up to the roof, there's not really like a ladder or anything. There is currently an opening there that no one's noticed yet, which is lucky. How would you like to try and get back out?
Still have my climbing gear, which may have some sort of grapple in it.
I too have climbing gear.
Awesome. Make a roll for how well you climb out.
Do you want to make this a group action?
Sure, why not? Yes. I can't remember how that works, but yes.
I was going to say, this is a leading question in that, do you want to lead a group action? Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
on the basis that we're assuming that it's... Yeah, okay. Yeah. I can use finesse for this, right?
Yes, so you both roll finesse. You take 1 stress for everyone who rolls.
Okay.
1 to 3.
Okay. All right.
5.
I got a 2 and a 4.
Okay.
So
that's fine. You don't take any stress.
Oh.
As in, because you do the action rolls individually, so you rolled a 4, right? Because you got 2 dots.
Oh, because the 2 that I rolled doesn't count.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes, you both managed to get your grappling hooks out. What I'm imagining, and tell me if you have a different idea, is you basically kind of both pinging your grappling hooks out of like opposite sides of the hatch and like climbing up, like probably not quite back to back because you wouldn't quite fit through, but like one pretty much straight after the other.
Get stuck in the hatch.
Yeah, let me go fast. I want to go first.
No, me.
You go first. You go first.
I elbow Mittens in the face as in my rush to get out through the hatch first. No, I didn't. No, I might have done that. If I do that, it's by accident. But no.
That's fine. Mittens won't take more harm. It's all good. Yeah. So you kind of claw your way up out of the kind of hatch in the roof. However, pretty much as soon as you're kind of at the top, before you can pull, your climbing equipment out of view, the guards kind of come around the corner and catch the kind of tail end of you, some ropes being yanked up through that, and start making their way over to hatch, see what's happened there, because they're not used to there being a hole in the roof there.
Okay. Well, we can't lift the hatch back up, can we? Because the lock's knackered.
Yeah, it opens inwards as well.
Yeah. I am wondering. I have a thing that might not work, and I want to. I don't know what the surroundings are like around this building. Like if there's other buildings nearby, or like at an alleyway nearby, or something like that.
What do you think of doing? What would you like to do?
What I'm thinking I would like to do. I don't know if anybody's heard of the Ballad of the Ox Venture, Tower Rangers episode, and the way that they bail out at the end of that. But I have an alchemical that can cause things to float, and I'm wondering if we just knock some of that back and jump.
That make us float? That seems like something you'd put in a balloon.
No, it creates. It's a liquid that creates neutral buoyancy when poured on an object, but it also says usually ingested orally or injected via dart. So if we downed it, in theory, we would float.
Yeah, go for it. Why not? You're the doctor.
In truth, I've always wanted to try this. I haven't had cause to up until this point.
It's probably fine.
Mince is just like, I don't want to walk on these feet. Mm-hmm. Give me the drift oil.
I'm floating back to the community centre and de-stressing.
I can just give you some trance powder if you like. That'll make it better.
Doesn't that just knock me out?
It gives you a pleasant hypnotic trance. That'd help, wouldn't it?
I'd like to be conscious until we get...
It doesn't say that you're not conscious, it just says that you're in a hypnotic trance.
I still feel like I should be able to react until we're out of danger.
A beautiful one where you're walking on clouds. Soft, squishy, fluffy clouds.
Clouds of glass.
I don't actually want to give you trance powder. This is my stock of trance powder and you don't get any.
Of course.
I do, however, want to make you drink this drift oil and then push you off a building.
Fine, I've still got the grappling hook anyway. So.
I guess the one thing that I would say about this is that how do you want to approach this? Because presumably if you were to just walk off the roof, you would just drift, and if you had existing momentum, it would continue you forward for a little bit. At some point you wouldn't go up or down, you would just be stood at the end of a
hovering
roof. Yes.
We have grappling hooks.
Yeah, so we could throw them to the nearest building or whatever is nearby, and then use them to pull ourselves over to whatever that building is. basically without having to get down to ground level and then climb back up again to get away. Like, in theory, we could get somewhere far away that would take longer for the
okay,
guards to
that
come
makes
out,
sense.
for them to follow us.
I don't know if my suggestion is unnecessarily over the top. So the building itself is a little bit standalone. There's kind of more like alleyways going around it for deliveries. However, if you were to say pick the one that looks closest and kind of run off the roof, jump, your momentum would then kind of take you towards it, at which point you could then just swing a grappling hook down, pull yourself onto the roof, and presumably you could just camp out on the roof until it wears off, or you could probably find yourself then, you could do the same trick if you down to...
Yeah, we I guess we have it for an hour, so we could use it to get further away, or I can end the effect. I have another alchemical that will end the effect.
Cool. Yeah, make a roll then to see how well you pull yourself onto a nearby roof.
Okie dokie. Is it going to be finesse again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't roll anything except finesse.
2 and a 1.
I'm wishing that I'd given myself another dot in finesse instead of the second dot in prowlement.
It hasn't done anything for me.
Okay, I got a 5 and a 2, so...
Cool. I think makes sense that then you just about managed to get yourself onto a roof. You see Mittens not quite used to floating, doesn't quite get the grapple on in the same way, and it's basically like a factory that's next door to this, like a mini, quite a small factory, but it's got a bit of a column, like a big chimney. You see Mittens kind of slightly cartoonishly like smack into it and slide down onto the roof. Well, I say slide, he kind of pushes himself down the chimney. Yeah, I want to say that'll probably be then level 1 harm to bashed into a chimney or of some description.
Level 2 harm.
Okay. But you are at least able to kind of push your way down to join Carrie Ann on the roof.
Okay, we've pulled back the grappling hook in the hope that they will not see or realise that this is the direction that we went in. And then I guess we could either hide here, or we could, until it all blows over, or we could slowly make our way back.
I mean, quick suggestion: could we take the the reagent that ends the effect and then do the flashback with your your exit strategy, body collector man, and just do that instead? Because that way we get out of here very quickly.
Instead of what?
Instead of waiting around for an hour and seeing if it blows over.
I mean, I didn't mean like wait around for... I just meant in case we thought that the guards were going to have followed us. Like, that's what I meant. I didn't mean wait until it wears off. I mean, just not take the chance that they'll be lurking around and find us.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't mind either way. Like, either way is fine. They were just suggestions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think getting out of here is probably the better idea. Just as in to to vacate the area as quick as possible.
Okay. All right. Yes, we can do that. In that case, we are going to get back to base.
If you want to just take a quick look back at the museum roof, currently there are no guards on it. They're still trying to sort out how to get up onto the roof.
Okay, they won't have seen us then, so we can just...
Nope.
We can make our way back.
So
I kind of want to take the reagent myself and just tie a string to Mittens and just take a little Mittens balloon back with me to base.
If that is what you would like.
Incredible. Yes, you take the reagent and tie your climbing gear to Mittens. What I'm assuming is that, because you'd roughly counterbalance, so obviously you'd normally fall at the speed of gravity, and Mittens would normally float. You kind of, almost like Mary Poppins-esque, you just kind of jump down and just kind of float.
That's even better. Oh my gosh.
Down to the ground floor, street level.
Yeah.
Where flashback, you got your getaway cadaver person is doing their quick rounds. Is pretending to be doing quick rounds to pick some things up from the morgue, and just kind of stuffs the two of you in the back, where you can just lie down and pretend to be dead bodies, and none of the blue coats who have started to converge on the museum would even question why you've got why he's there and doing things, because it's a cadaver person with a bunch of dead bodies in the back, obviously. So freely rides away and drops you back off at your base.
Is that within an hour? Do I still have my Mittens balloon?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. In that case, I burst through the front door with my Mittens balloon, and I shout for Claudia because I've brought her a gift.
Thanks so much for joining for this episode of Blades in the Dark. As ever, there'll be a link on screen to the previous episode in case you've missed that. We'll be doing the next episode live on Twitch on Monday the 6th of December. Until the next time I see you, I hope you have a great day.